Hi everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters, and today I want to show you how I made this really pretty card I shared as part of the Festive Friday challenges. So this week the challenge was National Frog Day or something like that. And for the challenge I chose green linen thread and insects as from the inspiration list as part of mine. But what I want to show you is how I created this background using the blending brushes that then go behind the Dandy Garden laser cut paper, the laser cut specialty paper. It's just a really cool way to use these really pretty laser cut pieces and to create a background to go behind it. So let me just switch over to my desktop and we'll get started. Okay, so this is the card that I shared today on my blog. Let's see if I can get that. And you can see, so I've used these really pretty laser cut pieces. So this is just a background piece that I've adhered on. This is a label that comes with it, and then the dragonfly is another laser cut. But this background where I've got the yellow, kind of green, and a different green, behind I've created using the blending brushes, and it's just a really cool way. So let me show you how I made this card. So I've got a piece of Granny Apple Green, and I'm just going to fold this. This is a 5.5 by 8.5 piece of cardstock, and I'm going to fold it in half and get my bone folder, and just give it a good crease with my bone folder. So this will make your standard card base. All of the measurements and the written instructions for this card will be on my blog, which I will put the link to underneath this video. Okay, so now I have a piece of Pool Party, and this piece is cut 3 5/8 by 5 1/8. So it's a bit of a different size, and the reason I've done that is because of the size of the laser cut. And so then this is shimmery white cardstock, which is cut 5 inches by 3.5. Will go on top. And then I'm just going to bring in, these are the Dandy Garden laser cut pieces. So that you get a whole bunch of different laser cut overlays. Now, I can't use the same one as I used on my card with the dragonflies because there is only one of these per sheet. So I'll use a different one, but I'll show you how I did it. So you get these overlay pieces, and then you get some other pieces that you can adhere on. And then the second one is you get labels, as well as these, I think these are called damselflies. So I'm going to use one of those because I've used my 2 dragonflies and I've used the label. So we'll change it up a little bit, but basically I'm going to show you. I'm going to use this piece, which has got the really pretty flowers on it, and a damselfly. Oopsie. Pick this up. There we go. Take one of these off, and I'm going to use one of these circle labels. The really cool thing is if you can pop this up because it's too you've got the circle that punches out as well as that piece. So you can color these as well if you want to. I'm going to rely on this colored background. So let me just show you how I did that. I've got my blending brushes. Now they come 3 to a package. I've got 2 packages here because I'm kind of separating them by color. So I've got my one I'm using for green, yellow, and blue. Now these wash out. They're amazing. They wash out and you would hardly know what color, but I haven't washed them in a bit. So what I thought I'd do is just make sure I get the right colors. So I've got Granny Apple Green, I've got Pool Party, and I have got Daffodil Delight. So I'm going to start with my lightest at the top, which is the daffodil. So you just want to take your blending brush and pick up some color and then just swoop down. What I love about these blending brushes is it just makes it so easy to get as light or dark as you want. And I always find with the sponge daubers, sometimes I get a dark circle, which I don't get on these because of the background. Now these are not foam, these are tiny fine bristles, and as I said, they wash out beautifully. All right, so that's Daffodil Delight. Now I'm going to do using Pool Party, and I'm just going to start in the middle. Oopsie. Pool Party's quite light. Either that or I need to re-ink my, re-ink my, oh, goodness sakes, it's very light. I have to definitely re-ink my ink pad. Oops. I'm pressing quite hard, yeah. That'll be the task for when I finish this video, is to re-ink my Pool Party pad. All right, it's gradually getting there. I'd like it a little bit darker, but for now we'll leave it. Now, Granny Apple Green, I'm just going to take, I think it's what I re-inked recently, so. There we go, that's definitely. Isn't that pretty? Just such an easy way to make a background. I'm just going to see. All right, there we go. Mix these up before I get my fingers in them. So you could use basic white. Like I said, I've used the shimmery white. You probably can't see the shimmer, but I just really like the look of the shimmery white. Okay, so now I'm going to take and adhere this down using my Stampin' Seal. It's just going to have a little peak of Pool Party behind it. And then I will take and adhere this down onto this Granny Apple Green. Let's get this pretty pop of color. Okay, so now if I bring in my laser pieces, this will just go on here. Now, I'm going to just use some Stampin' Seal here. Now, and the reason I'm doing it low is you can see on my card, I've got the label that goes kind of in the middle, so it's not going to see, but this is, on my card, I actually did use glue dots because the dragonflies are big enough that you can get the glue dots behind. But on this, there really isn't enough of the piece that you can adhere this down. So I'm going to just kind of get this where I want it to be and put some Stampin' Seal down here. This is going to be covered up. But it does mean that my laser piece is going to be kind of free floating, but it'll be held in place by everything else that I'm going to put on my card. There we go. So you can see it's free floating, but that's okay. It's held down by that Stampin' Seal in the middle. Now this is a little bit different. Oh, I know what I have. I have my I cut two little pieces. These are 1/4 of an inch by, and I'm gonna cut them a little bit. These are 1/4 of an inch piece of the Granny Apple Green, and I want them to be the same width as my Pool Party piece. So they're going to go edge to edge here on the Pool Party, which, if I remember correctly, that Pool Party piece is 3 5/8. So I'm just going to bring my trimmer in and trim these down to be 3 5/8. One and the other one. Like that. Okay, and I'm just going to take and put a little bit of Stampin' Seal, and these will just go. I just wanted something behind my sentiment to give it some dimension. Oops, very straight. There we go. So just like they're kind of a 1/4 of an inch apart. This piece, because I can actually pull this out, I pulled the circle out, so I'm going to take and just gently put some Stampin' Seal on the edge here to hold this in place. Put that on like that. And then I'm going to stamp my sentiment using the Tuxedo Black. And I pulled the sentiment from the Dragonfly Garden, so this "May good things grow all year long." That in the middle. And oopsie. Okay, I've got a little bit. I'm going to stamp this on the other side. I don't know what happened there. Got a little bit of a halo that I don't like. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to take my Daffodil Delight and my blending brush, and I'm just going to ink it up, and I'm going to sponge. So this is like sponging, except I'm using my blending brush to do it. So just like you would use a sponge dauber, you can use your blending brushes to sponge up and sponge the edge of your pieces. There we go, that just gives it a little bit more color. And I'm going to take some dimensionals. Now, I only have some of the mini, so I'm going to use a few. Never have enough dimensionals anyway. So, okay, so now I've got, take your quick tool to get these off. Sometimes I find the backing on these mini dimensionals harder to get off than the regular size dimensionals, but the take your pick tool works really well. So we'll put this in the middle, popped up. Like that. And then one of the last things I want to do, I want to put my damselfly. So I think I'm going to put it up here, but I'm going to sponge it in yellow as well. So you can color these. They are white, and so you can take and just color them. We make some great stencils here too, if you can see that. So again, add some color onto it. You can make it as dark as you want using your blending brush just by going over it. Now I'm going to take, I can find my glue dots, which are buried under my little basket. There we go. And I'm going to take a glue dot and just put on the body of my damselfly. Just kind of roll it into place because it's a little bit big, but I'll make it smaller. I'm going to put him, or her, I guess it's a her, there. And then the last thing I want to do is I'm just going to take a piece of the linen thread. I'm going to double it. Now this is more than I need, but I'm going to double it, and I'm going to tie a bow using the double thread, just because I want it a little thicker than what it would be if it was single. Oops, that way, okay. And my snips. And a glue dot. I'll just glue dot this. That and trim that off a little bit. There. So this is a little bit different than the card on my blog post, but because I didn't have the same overlay, but still pretty. I could have colored this a little bit and added some dimension to it, but still pretty pretty card, and using the blending brushes to create a background is such an easy way to add some color to behind these laser cut overlays. Okay, let me just switch back. There we go. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions, please just leave a comment on the video, or else leave a comment on my blog. I'll put the link to my blog post so that you can get the written instructions and the measurements for the card there. And as I said, if you have any questions or comments, I'd love to see your comments about the card. Post them either on my blog or on this video. So while you're here, subscribe to my YouTube channel so you get notified of my upcoming videos. I'd love for you to subscribe. So thanks very much for joining me. Hope you join me again. Bye, everybody.